Here.
Mr. Markgraf?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Do we have any conflict of interest statements?
No.
No.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 21st, 2019.
Motion to approve the minutes for February 21st, 2019.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item A, request for advertising dates of March 7th, 2019, and March 14th, 2019, with a bid opening date of March 28th, 2019 for the 5th District Lighting Project, Alexander Avenue from 173rd Street to 169th Street, Marshall Avenue from 173rd to 169th Street, and 172nd Street from Alexander Avenue to Marshall Avenue.
Good. All right. Motion to approve the advertising dates is read.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item B, Calumet Conkey Bridge, change order number 1, with a cost reduction of $15,008.60 for the change from half-inch to 3/8 inch piling thickness. From the engineering department.
Burtis, you want to comment on that?
Yes, it's just basically a change in the wall thickness. That's going to save us some money. They can get the wall or the pipe quicker. The half-inch would take months. So the 3/8 and it's acceptable towards the index. So I would recommend approval of it.
Motion to approve the change order.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Item C, amendment number 1, received from American Structure Point for additional construction engineering services in the Chicago Street Phase 3 project. Someone want to speak on this one?
This is wrapping up the construction supervision for the Chicago Avenue project, Phase 3. And basically, we added a water main to it, so it's just pretty much of a final change order to wrap it up, and it's 80/20, where the federal highway is going to pay 20% of it.
So Hammond's portion will be $7,004.45.
Correct. I recommend you guys can approve it to close out the project, but appreciate it.
Thank you. A motion to approve the amendment.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item D, correspondence received from Councilman Mark Kalwinski requesting $10,000 of gaming funds be allocated for the purchase of 2 solar power safe pace radar speed signs to be placed on Homan Avenue at the north and south limits of the Lincoln School Zone area. It's signed by the councilman and by the mayor.
A motion to approve the councilman's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item E, correspondence received from Mayor Thomas M. McDermott Jr. authorizing $150,000 of gaming funds be used for park improvements at Hessville Park. Signed by the mayor.
Motion to approve the mayor's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, correspondence received from Councilman Dave Warple requesting $100,000 of 2019 gaming funds be allocated for park improvements in the 5th District. Signed by the councilman and by the mayor.
Thank goodness it's not $1 billion.
Exactly.
Motion to approve the councilman's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item G, correspondence received from Fire Chief Jeffrey Smith advising two treadmills have been used at Fire Station 7 and Fire Station 8 and have been donated to the Hammond Boxing Club. Chris, okay with that? Do you need a,
Sorry.
it's okay with the disposal in that manner?
Okay, no, that's fine.
Okay. I will ask that we request that the fire department send notification to the controller's office, asset management clerk.
Oh, yeah, they're
Do
not
I,
on the list, but I will do
I'm not
that.
going to use the bill. I'm not going to use the findings.
I guess this is for advisement purposes only.
Wait and see what happens.
Item G, H, disposal authorizations received from the Hammond Police Department.
Another good week.
At least for the cubicles,
Woodmark, doing good. Okay. Motion to approve the disposal authorizations from the police department.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Item I, notice of violation hearing on property located at 7332 Oakdale Avenue.
City's ready to proceed. clarification for the board. The board's being handed a bunch of the documents. Every document that's being handed to the board, I've already provided to council. I have yet to receive anything back from council before today, so, but each one of those documents has been presented to the council. Just by way of information before we start, this is a property at 7332 Oakdale in Hammond. This is a property in which a basement bedroom was constructed illegally without permits and is a safety hazard because there's no way out of the basement bedroom except through a window which is of the inaccessible size. So the city's going to be calling some witnesses to testify to the history of this property. All right, the city's first witness is going to be Kelly Kearney. He's going to stand and be sworn. All right, do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, what is your name, please?
Kelly Kearney.
And what is your position with the city of Hammond?
I'm the Chief of Inspections.
And in the course of your duties as Chief of Inspections, did the property at 7332 Oakdale come to your attention?
Yes, it did.
What was it about that property that brought it to your attention?
It was described as having 3 bedrooms. I'm familiar with that neighborhood and that house, and it also advertised a bedroom in the basement.
Okay, well, when you stop, let me stop you just for more foundation here. It was advertised. In what format or means did you come to understand it was advertised?
It first popped up on my Facebook page as a Zillow realtor site.
Okay, and the Zillow Realtor, is that a screenshot of the Zillow Realtor site?
Yes, it is.
And it says it's 7332 Oakdale at the top?
Yes, it does.
And where does it say that there's a a bedroom in the basement?
It is in the description of the property.
Okay. Now, was there more than just this listing? Was there also like a video walkthrough?
There was
Okay, and were you able to watch the video walkthrough of the property?
several times.
And in the video walkthrough of 7332 Oakdale, they show both the outside of the property and the inside of the property, is that correct?
That is correct.
So you would be absolutely sure that the video walkthrough, which is a continuous stream, is showing a property that is located in Hammond, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, on the video walkthrough, which is put up by Zillow, that show the outside of the property with the house address and then the inside of the property, does it show a bedroom basement?
Yes, it does. If I may, that was actually a YouTube video.
Okay, I'm sorry, YouTube video. From Listing Leaders?
Yes,
Okay, and that's a real estate company, or?
the best I can understand.
I'm going to show you a picture. Actually, it's 2 pictures. That one's kind of blurry, though, but I'd go with this one. Can you tell me what that picture shows?
That is from the video showing the wall and door of a bedroom in the basement of 7332 Oakdale.
Right, and the person who's taking the video identifies it as 7332 Oakdale, is that correct?
That is correct.
And they start with an outside shot, walk into the property, walk around the inside, the kitchen's actually really cute, walk around to the bathroom, and then they go down the stairs, is that correct?
That's correct.
It's a continuous stream. At no point in time do they switch between properties.
That's correct.
And you watched that video.
Several times.
Now, did you pull the permit history on this property?
We did.
Okay, and what were the permits that were pulled for this property?
The most recent permit was for a EJ construction.
I'm going to hand you a series of documents. Could you please go through those documents and indicate what they represent?
This is a permit for issued to EJ Construction, and also A+ Construction, installing water lines and new fixtures in August. This is a permit for P&F Investments, upgrade and remodel, CJ Sun and Electric, also pulled in August, or expires in August. This is a permit issued to Yvette Hernandez in 2014 for residential plumbing, replacing Buffalo Box Roundway. Another permit for Yvette Hernandez in 2006 for Hickson Home Improvement for roof repair. Another permit to Yvette Hernandez to remove old shingles and replace with new. 7332 ABL Homes, heating permit for Gonzalez Electric Heating and Cooling, install furnace, coil condenser, and thermostat, I'm sorry. Another one to ABL Homes Contractor ZJ Construction. Patch wall, ceiling, replace baseboards, interior doors, new light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, refinish hardwood.
Do any of those permits authorize or give permission to place a bedroom basement?
No.
And what would be the reason why a bedroom basement would not be allowed?
Didn't have a 7-foot ceiling height. Didn't have an proper egress window. So the 7-foot ceiling, minimum ceiling height is International Residential Code. Property does not have that. It's obviously not going to meet code. It's also defined as a cellar, where more than half finished floor to finished ceiling space is below grade. That's the definition of a cellar. More than half of that finished space is above grade, then it's a basement. This is actually a cellar.
Now, I'm going to show you what are also from the Zillow listings. What is 7332 Oakdale? What is depicted in this Zillow listing photograph?
This is the finished bedroom with the finished ceiling, finished floor. It does have a window well. That window well does not meet code. It would have to be 3 foot by 3 foot. You have to be able to climb out that into that window well and out of the room. No permit for this window well either.
Now, I'm going to show you some pictures which are marked from December 13th of 2018. Are these the same property?
Yes.
Now, they look different, so can you explain that? What happened between December and the time of the Zillow listing?
It appears they pulled up the floor and took down the ceiling, basically unfinishing the room. The window is still there. Actually, the closet is still there and was there recently in the February inspection.
And these pictures from December 13th, what do those show?
These are of the floor, actually, where the wall was and where the anchors would have been put to anchor the framing for that wall.
All right. And then lastly, an inspection on this property occurred on 2/26 of 19, which was Tuesday of this week. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Were you present when this inspection occurred?
I was not.
Okay. Who was present?
Bob Bale.
Okay. All right, on each one of these, I do have 2 copies. Is there anything else? Now, have you had an opportunity to speak to anybody about this property?
I spoke to Mr. Peterson, obviously the inspectors and the building commissioner. Originally, I spoke to Mr. Ryan Steele, who was questioning why we wanted the bedroom removed and the closet removed, and our ability to do that.
Mr. Steele make any statements about the basement bedroom? Did he tell
Not
you
that-
this was a different house in these pictures?
He did not tell me that information came to us recently, or allegation.
Did he say anything about the removal of the units?
We had a back and forth when, after the first inspection. But again, I haven't spoken to him since.
Did he indicate he wanted the room to remain in its present configuration?
He did.
Did he say why?
Not to me, no.
All right, is there anything else further you have to add about this property?
I do want to say that we had set up the inspection, actually a couple weeks before the initial inspection in December. Showed up, no one was there. We issued a citation for authority to inspect. Set up the inspection a couple weeks later. At that time, the wall and the door were gone. However, the closet remains, and that's one of the things we're here for, is to remove that closet so we have an open space walking around the mechanicals. There's no division in that wall.
So the board does have a packet showing these photographs. You're indicating that the picture that it says 12/13/18 and the picture in the Zillow listing are the same property, and they were altered at what point in time?
I believe between the time of the first inspection,
Which is about approximately?
it would be end of November, beginning of December.
Okay.
And this is the 13th, I think there was clearly 2 to 3 weeks before we got back in after the first inspection, no one showed.
But there's no doubt that these are the same properties.
No doubt in my mind.
Now, there's a light fixture hanging from the ceiling in the 12/13/18. There was no light fixture in the picture that was from November. Can you explain the difference there?
No, it's obvious that some electrical was put in, but if the wall was there, there was an outlet on it. There's switches that have been removed. There's no permit for electrical in that room to be done. I have to assume that light was removed, put the ceiling up.
So you don't know if it was originally configured with the light there or not?
No, I do not.
All right, now the board already has it, but I have prepared, what will be group exhibit number 1, or A, depends whichever you'd like me to use. And I would move for admission at this time of group A.
Board will admit Exhibit A into evidence.
And now, I will be calling Bob Bale, but I, of course, would like Mr. Peterson to have his opportunity to cross-examine Kelly Kearney before I do that.
Attorney, I want to drill down with the issues. First of all, I have in my hand what I identify as respondents exhibit. What's the exhibit? Is it A or 1?
A, sir.
Here's a copy of the notice of violation, copy from Ms. Cantar. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Board, Secretary. Mr. Kearney, is that a true and accurate copy of the notice of violation which serves as the reason you're here today?
Yes, sir. To the best of my knowledge, I did not fill out this paperwork.
I'm being asked to move closer to the mic. Mr. Kearney, do you mind if I stand next to you while I ask these questions?
No, sir, come on.
So, I move to admit respondents A as the notice of violation.
Any objection? Chris?
Okay, so I want to talk about what the issues are that the city has with my
I'm
client.
sorry, Attorney Peterson, did you say Exhibit A?
And that-
We're going to be A, so we make this 1?
Oh, that's, I'm
That's
one?
okay.
Okay, so I'm at exhibit 1.
Thank you.
So I move to admit respondents exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Okay, so Mr. Kearney, this is the reason we're here today, and there's 3 code violations that you're referencing. Hammond Municipal Code 96.068, which is use of cellar for habitation prohibited. Then we've got the ceiling height violation, which is Hammond Municipal Code 96.067, which, and then you've got a reference to the International Residential Code, which is effectively a duplicate of 96.067. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, you said there's 2 things that you're concerned about. The first thing is you've alleged that between December and February, my client installed a new drop ceiling and flooring and then removed it? Or what specifically are you alleging with respect to the activities in the home?
In
that-
watching the video, the YouTube video of the walkthrough through 7332 Oakdale, there's clearly a wall and a door, clearly a finished floor, and a finished ceiling. After witnessing that in the description, I asked for an inspection to be set up. That inspection no one showed. We issued citation, set the inspection. Upon entering and going to the basement, the wall and door had been removed, the floor had been removed, the ceiling had been removed.
Okay.
The closet remains.
All right, now, to remove, I want to make sure I've got this correct. If work is done in a house and the value of which is under $500, you don't have to pull a permit, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, to remove a floor and a ceiling and a wall, is it possible to do it for less than $500?
Yes.
Okay. All right. my hand will identify as Respondents Exhibit 2 for identification purposes. I hand a copy of that to Mr. Kearney, another copy for Ms. Cantar. I have a copy for the board. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Identify this as Respondents 2. Mr. Kearney, it's my understanding that this is the building permit pulled by ABL Homes for remodeling work on that property, correct?
It was actually pulled by EJ Construction. ABL Homes is as the owner.
Thank you for correcting me. That's kind of, you stand corrected, that's correct. So, this is for work that's done. Now, you said that you've been dealing with a representative of ABL Homes.
No, that'd be unfair to say. Mr. Luter's been dealing with it more than I have.
But have you had any dealings with Ryan Steele?
Not personally, other than the first phone call.
All right. Well, this was work that was done to remodel a home. Would it be fair to say that this is typical of work that you would see done on a home that's foreclosed?
Depends on the condition of the home. A foreclosed home could be completely gutted. I mean, well, it depends on the situation of the house.
All right, well, let's say it's not gutted, let's just say it's in rough shape. This is the kind of work that you would often see for somebody to remodel a home in the city of Hammond, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. All right. So, in December, when you went in and took the photos, and I'm referring to what's been put in the record as City's Exhibit 1. There's a photo here showing the property. There's no drop ceiling, there's no floor, there's no flooring in there, and the wall containing the door had been removed.
Correct.
You know why?
That's Exhibit A, and Mr. Luter actually took the photos.
Or Exhibit A, okay. So, now, do you know why the wall containing the door had been removed?
I believe so. They could try to not define it as a room.
Okay. Did the city of Hammond request that the wall containing the door be removed?
That's why we're here now.
But is there a wall with a door for that space presently in that house?
No.
In that basement? But you're telling the board that you believe at some point in time between December and February, ABL Homes went and installed a wall with a door, installed a drop ceiling, and installed the flooring?
No, I'm saying they removed it sometime between December and February. They removed it before our inspection, December 13th.
They removed it, okay. Are you suggesting that they reinstalled it after the inspection in December?
No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, it was created before we did our inspection. Upon our inspection, the ceiling was gone, the floor was gone, the wall and the door were gone.
Okay. All right. So, between December and February, are you suggesting that they reinstalled the ceiling, the floor, or the wall?
No, sir.
Okay. So, are you telling the board that between December and February, the condition of that basement has remained essentially unchanged?
It just remains unchanged, including the closet that I'm asking to be removed.
All right. Now, would it surprise you if I told you that my client is not seeking to use that space as a bedroom?
I'm not necessarily worried about your client moving in there and using it as a bedroom. I'm worried about whoever's going to buy it using it as a bedroom. The closet clearly indicates that that space was occupied or could have been occupied at one point. Removing that closet takes that assumption away.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. I want to drill into this. I have in my hand what I identify as Respondents Exhibit 3. May I approach the witness?
Sure.
Kearney, here's a copy of Hammond Municipal Code. Here's a copy of Ms. Cantar. May I approach?
Yes.
I've marked this as Respondents Exhibit 3, and I tender a copy of that to the Secretary, or only for your record. Mr. Kearney, do you recognize my given name?
Yes, Yes, sir.
What is that?
City ordinances,
Okay, specifically, what city ordinance?
Chapter 96 housing.
More specifically, it's section 96.002, correct?
Correct.
The definition. Would you look at the definition of habitable room?
Yes.
Okay. Could you read that, please?
Habitable room, a room or enclosed floor space used or intended to be used for living, sleeping, cooking, or eating purposes, excluding bathrooms, heater, closet, compartments, laundries, pantries, foyers, or communicating corridor, closets, and storage space.
Okay, so it's correct that that space is not enclosed. There's no wall with a door in it, right?
There's a doorway into it. Is there an actual door there? No.
Where's the doorway?
As you look at the closet, if I may,
Let's look at a photo. This photo is correct, or is it the doorway? Okay, wait, that's what you're calling a closet, right? Okay, but I'm looking at this space right here, and I'm gonna hold this up to show the board. This is the area that you're talking to. There is no wall or door closing off this area, correct?
correct.
Okay, so it's not an enclosed space, this area that we're referring to.
And I'm referring to that as a closet.
Okay.
Referring to that as a bedroom.
Referring to that as a bedroom. All right. Is there a definition of bedroom in the Hammond Code?
No, I don't believe so. Let me,
Well, I've investigated this, and it would surprise you if I was unable to find the definition of bedroom in the Hammond Municipal Code.
no, just as I'm not surprised that you can't find the definition of cellar.
Definition of what?
Cellar.
Okay. So, the space that you're referring to as a bedroom is not enclosed
Any longer.
any longer, but presently it's not. Okay, so let's talk about closet. Is there a definition in the Hammond City Code of closet?
Not to my knowledge. Counselor, if I may, if you look under the definition of dwelling unit, I think you'll find your definition of a bedroom.
Okay, so we'll get back to that. I want to focus on closet right now. There's no definition of closet. Now, you're calling that a closet. I looked at the HUD definitions of closet. Would it surprise you that the HUD definition of closet referred to a space that contains, for example,
residential code is what standard we use?
We use the residential standard. But there's no articulable standard for closet, there's no definition of closet, there's no articulable standard for bedroom. We're relying on habitable space as the definition, right?
Habitable space and dwelling.
Habitable space and dwelling. So, that leaves a wide range of discretion apparently in Hammond officials, right?
Hammond what? I'm sorry.
Hammond officials. You
I don't believe so,
officials
no.
have a wide range of discretion to determine when a space is a bedroom, when it's a habitable space, when it's a dwelling, when it's a closet, or when it's not.
Space is vacant. I don't know what the intent of whoever's going to be in that house, what they're going to use it for. Minimum, International Residential Code minimum is a 10 by 7 room is the minimum for a bedroom. Okay? So it doesn't have to have a closet to be a bedroom. The space, minimum space, 10 by 7.
Hang on, let me stop. You raised a very important point, and I want to emphasize that. The intent of the use of the space. Did you ever inquire with the owner of the property what they intended to use that space for?
The property is up for sale. I don't think the owner, at that time, intended to use it for anything. He was selling the property. So
So he didn't intend to use it for a bedroom. He didn't intend to use it for a closet. He didn't intend to use it for any of these things because you haven't determined what his intent was.
he listed it as a 3-bedroom house with a bedroom in the basement.
We'll get to that in a moment. All right. All right. I have my handle identified as responsive to the board identification purposes. Mr. Kearney, here's a copy of Hammond Municipal Code. I have a copy of Mr. Ansar. I have a copy of the board may approach. Intent is what has been identified as responsive to the board, the secretary. Mr. Kearney, do you recognize what I've given you?
Yes.
Okay, it's a printout of 3 sections of the Hammond Municipal Code. The first one is section 96.065, the second one is section 96.067, and the third one is section 96.068. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, section 96. 96.067 and 96.068 are the 2 sections that are identified as the violations in the notice of violation that's been listed, that's been entered as Respondent's Exhibit 1, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I think it's important that the board become aware of the effect of section 96.065. Would you read that, please?
96.065, compliance required, no person shall occupy or let to another for occupancy any dwelling or dwelling unit for the purpose of living therein, which does not comply with the requirements of this subject.
Okay. When you inspected the property, was anyone occupying that property?
House was vacant.
Did you determine that the property had been let to another for occupancy during any of your inspections?
No, house was vacant.
Respondent moves to admit Exhibit 4.
Objections to city space, it was one.
Stevens.
And you were explaining to him, he was trying to, is it fair to characterize that Mr. Stevens was expressing confusion and frustration with requirements of Hammond building code?
Yes, that's why I asked him to call me.
All right. And what was he frustrated about?
I wasn't quite sure, to be honest with you. He wanted a definition of what he needed a permit for, and that's why I asked him to call me, because the scenarios that he played out, most cases he didn't need a permit. But he obviously didn't know that. Instead of running a thread, trying to answer every other question that wasn't asked, I asked him to call me. I've done that
Okay, well.
a lot.
This is some questions that Mr. Stevens, who's, I believe is an investor, posed to me. He said, so if I buy a rental in my own name and I want to obtain it, I can't, question mark. I have to hire a contractor, question mark. Where is that line, question mark? And $500, by whose standards, question mark? I mean, if I'm doing the work and I'm not charging labor and I'm using paint from my previous home that I moved from, I didn't have to pay for it. These are areas confusing. The last thing I want to do is do it wrong. But it isn't clear. This is a major hesitation I have if I want to invest in Hammond.
I'm just going to object because is Dale Stevens involved with the property at 7332 Oakdale? Who is he? Is he here? Is he here to testify and be cross-examined? The city of Hammond recently prevailed in a federal lawsuit where the court upheld the requirement that contractors, as opposed to homeowners, are required to use. Individuals who are doing work on property other than their own homes are required to use contractors. It's currently going up on appeal to the Seventh Circuit, but I doubt it's going to have much success. So, I mean, if we're going to try to argue that issue that's already been argued and the city prevailed at this hearing, contractors are needed if it's somebody else is going to be sleeping there. If a homeowner wants to do work, it's a completely different standard.
Attorney Peterson, do you intend upon calling Dale Stevens for the record today?
But I want to respond. This is an administrative board hearing. The rules of evidence don't apply. Hearsay is admissible in front of the administrative board. And this is introduced not to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It is introduced to show that there are no articulable standards in the Hammond City Code.
Attorney Peterson, if I may, I don't believe this demonstrates that. I believe that Mr. Kearney directed Dale Stevens, who is not present today, and the confusion or misunderstanding or state of mind of an individual who's not involved in this case has no relevancy on what we're here to discuss this morning.
Okay, well, that goes to the weight of the evidence, not the admissibility.
If I object, I consider it irrelevant. It has absolutely nothing to do with 7332 Oakdale and the basement in the bedroom.
I don't see how the state of mind of an individual who's not involved has any relevancy on our discussion today, sir. The board will not admit Exhibit 5 into evidence.
Okay. I have my hand will identify as Respondents Exhibit 6 for identification purposes. Tender a copy to Mr. Kearney. Give a copy to Ms. Cantar. Tender a copy to Board Man Koch.
Yes.
Respondent 6 is tendered to the Secretary of Labor. Mr. Kearney, do you recognize what I'm giving you?
That's a page from the assessor's site.
Is it fair to characterize that as the assessor's parcel card for 7332 Oakdale?
Yes, sir.
On there, does it indicate how many bedrooms are in the house? Maybe I can help you. Page 2
Accommodations, 2 bedrooms.
has 2 bedrooms. Respondent moves to admit the assessor's parcel card as respondent 6.
Issue?
No, I mean, don't forget, the bedrooms on the assessors are based on permits. If you do something without a permit, the assessor never knows about it, which is why people do things without permits.
The The board will admit Exhibit 6 into the record.
I have no further questions.
Just to redirect on Mr. Kearney real briefly. The owner of the property is ABC,
ABL.
ABL, and ABL. Are they kind of new to the game, or are they experienced?
It's my first encounter with him.
Do they have all the property?
Yes.
Is anybody with ABL a contractor, or no?
No.
These are just investors.
Correct.
Did anybody from ABL call and ask you to explain 96.068, use of a cellar for habitation prohibited?
They did not.
96.068, it's pretty clear that it says no cellar space shall be used as a habitable room or dwelling unit. That's pretty much complete end of sentence period right there, right?
Correct.
I think I can jump in here. ABL Homes will stipulate that this is a two-bedroom property and that they do not intend to use the cellar. The basement space is a bedroom.
What's ABL's purpose for the property? What do they intend to do with it? If you know, Mr. Kearney.
I'm sorry.
What is ABL, at least by the Zillow listing, intending to do with the property?
Sell it?
Okay. So what ABL's purpose is to sell the property, is that correct?
That's correct.
If they were to sell the property to an individual and they were to use the basement as a bedroom because they relied upon what was there when they purchased it, does that make a difference what ABL's intent for the property was?
Objection, that calls for a legal conclusion. This witness is not capable of offering.
ABL was selling 7332 Oakdale, correct?
Correct.
At the time that the video was created, they were selling it with a finished space in the basement, correct?
Correct.
They were-
Objection, there's no foundation that the witness knows when the video was created.
I know when I viewed it.
When did you view the video?
It was the 12th, just before the inspection.
I'm sorry, of what, can you give us
December
that date,
12th.
please? December 12th, 2018?
In the video that you viewed prior to the inspection, there was a finished basement in the property.
There's a finished bedroom in the basement, correct.
And the Zillow listing, that same property says, downstairs is an additional bedroom and additional space, just waiting for your finishes to turn it into the space you need. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So based on the video you watched showing the room and the Zillow listing for the property listing the bedroom, you would believe ABL's intention is to sell a three-bedroom property.
As described, correct.
And ABL did not pull any permits to put in a third bedroom in the basement.
Did not, could not.
In order to create a third bedroom in the basement, would it require more than $500 worth of materials and labor?
Yes,
So a permit would have been required.
it would have.
And if a permit had been required, then the county would know it was a three-bedroom property.
That's correct.
And so the reason people sometimes don't pull permits is so that the county doesn't know,
That's correct.
because then their taxes go up.
Exactly.
I don't have anything else for cross-examination, but I do have another witness. So if there's, I'm sorry, redirect. I don't have anything else for redirect, but if there is going to be additional cross-examination before I call the next witness.
I have no recross, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Luder?
Kearney.
City would call this next witness, Bill Luder. Would you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
What is your name, sir?
William Luder,
And what do you do for the city of Hammond?
the building inspector.
How many times have you been inside of 7332 Oakdale?
Through the inspections with EJ, I would say 3 to 4 times.
Can you tell me approximately when those inspections occurred?
Off the top of my head, I could not.
At any point when you were making an inspection, was there a room set up in the basement?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you the individual who took these pictures dated February 26th?
Unfortunately, I am not.
Okay. Were you present when these photos were taken?
No, I was not. He has a time clock.
Now, have you had an opportunity to speak to anybody on 7332 Oakdale?
I spoke with a gentleman by the name of Pedro, who I believe works for ABA Home as their local project manager or property manager.
And did he say say anything about the configuration of the basement?
He did not.
Do you have any information about the construction of the room in the basement?
Our first conversation about the property actually came up when the Zillow listing showed the bedroom, or a third bedroom downstairs. I immediately called Pedro, I do not know his last name, called him, said we would like to do an inspection to see if this was true, that there was a third bedroom downstairs in the basement. As Mr. Kearney testified, we had an appointment set. We arrived, and no one was there. When I got back to the office, I got was a message waiting from Pedro that said he could not obtain the keys that day to let us in. And as soon as he would get the keys, he would let us know. He called us later, and that's when we went in. I believe it was December 13th is the day of the pictures. And that's when we found that the wall had been removed. We found the marks on the floor where the anchors had been patched, the ceiling had been removed, and the floor had been removed.
How much time passed between your first scheduled inspection that didn't happen and then when you finally did get in?
10 days, 2 weeks, maybe?
Is that enough time to tear out everything that's the difference between the two pictures in Group A?
Absolutely, could have been done in a day or two.
Did anybody ever explain the difference in the photographs between the Zillow listing and the pictures you took on December 13th?
I don't recall if Pedro did say something that day to us.
Is there anything else you have to say about 7332 Oakdale from your personal knowledge or experience?
No.
I pass the witness for cross-examination.
Mr. Luter, you are, what is your position at the city council?
I am the building inspector,
How long have you been a building inspector?
including my time in code enforcement, going on 6 years, as building inspector since May of last year. Yes.
Here's a copy of a photo I give to you.
Mhm.
I'll give a copy to Ms. Cantor. May I approach? I have my hand will identify as Respondents Exhibit 7. It's a photo. Mr. Luter, do you recognize that photo?
Yes.
What is it?
That is the past final inspection for 7332 Oakdale,
Okay. And when was it issued?
October 4th.
And when you passed it, strike that question. Mr. Luter, we're all in agreement that we want property owners to conform with Hammond Municipal Code, right?
Correct.
And we're all in agreement that in broad strokes, bedrooms and basements are generally not in compliance with Hammond Code.
Basement, or correction, bedrooms and cellars, correct.
Bedrooms and cellars. Okay. Now, would you have green tagged this property had you seen a bedroom and a cellar?
No.
So, on October 4th, 2018, the property did not have a bedroom cellar. Bedroom and a cellar. Is that fair to say?
If I can abound, the permit first calls for patching walls and ceiling, replacing baseboards, interior doors, new light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, new finished hardwood floor, vinyl tile kitchen, soffit and fascia as needed, and front entry door. Do we agree with that? Is there any work? Okay, sorry, yes. So based on that, there was no work explained in the contract in the basement.
Okay, all right, fine. Well,
However, if I, yes.
I think the permit speaks for itself, and it doesn't necessarily reference where the work is being done.
Correct. If it called for framing a room in the basement,
So, let me make sure that we're on the same page. When you inspected the property on October 4th, 2018, was it an enclosed space? Was the cellar room an enclosed space?
I cannot testify to that. I did not see it because I did not go downstairs. I received an emergency phone call because my father was in the hospital, and yes, I did not go downstairs.
Have you been in the property since October 4th, 2018?
Yes, I was there December 13th.
On December 13th, was that space in the bedroom that the city is seeking to characterize, sorry, on December 13th, 2018, the area in the bedroom that the city is seeking to characterize as a bedroom, was it an enclosed space?
If you mean that the partition wall and the door still being in existence, as well as the ceiling that is shown in the Zillow photo, were removed? Yes, they were removed.
You have not been on the property since December 13th, 2018?
That's correct.
I have no further questions.
Just one real quick question for redirect. When you went to do this inspection, this green tag inspection, did the contractor say, oh, and by the way, come downstairs to see the work I did down there as well?
No, they did not. There was one person there, and in a rush, as again I said, my father was ill and in the hospital, I did ask him, is the basement wide open? He responded with yes.
So your failure to go into the basement was based on the contractor telling you that there had been no work done there?
Yes.
Were there ever any permits to change the electrical in the basement before or after this?
I do believe there was permits for electric.
But were they in the basement?
That I do not know.
I don't have anything else. I have one more witness.
Thank you, Mr. Luder.
Okay, city's final witness is Bob Vale. Now, Bob Vale, you weren't present for the testimony of any of the other witnesses, right?
Correct.
Okay, so please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. I'm handing you some photographs, which I have not yet marked, but will be cities B. Were you the individual who took these photographs?
Yes.
What do you do for the city of Hammond?
Building commissioner?
And in the course of your duties as building commissioner, did you come across 7332 Oakdale?
Yes, I did, yes.
How many times were you inside of that property?
I believe just once.
Okay, and would that once be February the 26th, 2019, when these pictures were taken?
Yes.
Could you tell me about your inspection?
As you can see in the picture, one of the walls was removed that I assume had the doorway, and there was a closet present in the back.
Okay, what is the reason the city wishes to have the closet removed?
Well, once the house is sold, it'd be very easy just to build a wall there and install a door and have a non-compliant bedroom.
Okay, so it's in the interest of public safety for whoever may purchase this property from the investors who have no intention but to sell it, that you are protecting the unintended occupants from the danger of having a basement bedroom.
Correct.
And they may or may not be aware that a basement's not supposed to be down there.
Correct, that happens a lot.
And so what are you actually asking the owner of this property to do?
For one, to remove the closet, so a new owner doesn't get the impression that could be made into a bedroom, because it looks exactly like a closet you would have in a bedroom.
And are you asking the board to record something on the property which would indicate to all subsequent purchasers that there is not to be any habitation in the basement?
Yes,
So basically, what you're asking the board to do is to affirm and to record on the property that there is never to be the use of a cellar for habitation at 7332 Oakdale in accordance with the building codes.
correct.
And by remove the closet, what do you actually physically mean?
Remove the closet walls,
So
so it'd be open, it'd be a walkthrough.
it would be a pass-through to the furnace room?
Yes,
Okay, and the room could still be used for storage or workout equipment?
sure.
If the person put shelves in there, that wouldn't be a violation of code, would it?
No, that'd be perfect.
All right, at this point, I'd like to admit cities B, which are the inspection photographs from 226. just got those today. Do you have another copy of those?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Would you like to?
I'm sorry, I thought you had everything.
Respondent has no objection to the city's exhibit B.
The city will admit Exhibit B into evidence.
I have no further questions for Mr. Beck.
Mr. Vail, let me ask you this.
Yesterday.
How long have you been a building commissioner for City Hall?
Since July of this year, of 2018.
How long have you been, what were you doing before that?
Building inspector for 8 years.
So, is there any definition that you're aware of in city code of what is a closet?
No.
So, the city attorney has said you want my client to remove the wall and the space that you call a closet, right?
The closet itself.
And you want the board to affirm some kind of an order that you can't use that space as a bedroom, right?
Correct.
But that's already Hammond municipal code.
Yes.
So, there doesn't need to be a separate order in there when the code already says you can't use that space for a cell.
The way it's configured now, it could easily be converted to a bedroom.
Converted how?
By putting up a single wall in a door.
And, did they do anything else?
Drywall.
How about that space you're calling a closet? You have to put a door up there, right?
Not necessarily.
Have to put a rod in there and some shelves?
Yes.
Okay, all right. But in order to do that, whoever would do it would need a full permit with the city.
If it's under $500, they wouldn't need a permit.
Let me ask you this. Does the city treat investors differently from owner occupants in the enforcement of building codes?
No.
I have no further questions, Ms. Witness.
Thank you. I believe it's been done.
That's fine.
I have a couple of witnesses who have responded. I'm trying to keep this brief. So, I call Christopher Fontenot. Fontenot. Sir, would you identify yourself to the board?
Christopher Fontenot from,
And
oh, sorry.
what is your profession?
Please swear him in, Mr. Director. You solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, please.
Fontenot, what is your profession?
I'm a realtor with Listing Leaders.
And as a realtor, were you the listing agent for 7332 Zoll, or 7332 Oakdale?
Yes, sir.
Get the Zoll. All right. Are you aware of a video that was uploaded to YouTube and is also available on Zillow for this property?
Yes, sir.
It's the video that was referred to by the city attorney. How did that video come into existence?
It was shot by a photographer and,
Sir, I'm sorry, we have you please speak in the
Sorry.
microphone? It's being recorded for the record.
sorry. It was shot by my photographer, sent to my marketing, I call her department, my virtual assistant for editing.
Okay. Was the video that was uploaded to YouTube and on Zillow, was it a correct representation of the condition of the house?
I don't understand. Sorry.
Did it correctly show what, did it correctly, let me be more specific. The video showed
show that.
Is that a correct representation of the condition of the house?
No, I believe that image, that section was from another listing.
So how did that happen?
Sadly, my virtual assistant had made quite a few errors during this time. That part of the video was actually on a number of listings.
What part of the video?
That part showing the basement.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear and I want to make sure the board is. Your assistant reused the video portion of the basement showing a bedroom on a variety of your listings?
She did.
Can I, very quickly, I'm sorry, I didn't catch, what realtor do you work for?
Listing leaders?
Listing leader, thank you, sir.
I'd like to show a video to the board. I have in my hand a copy of the video from Ms. Cantar. Here is a copy. May I approach?
Yes.
Here's a copy of the CD. The secretary, I tendered this, and I'm showing the video right now. Mr. Fontenot, would you please come here and describe the house? So let me back up.
Can you guys see, or can you tip it a bit, it's a little.
Yeah, that's perfect,
There
right
we
there,
go.
right there,
Okay.
perfect, yeah.
So, what's going on here?
The walkthrough.
All right.
So is this Oakdale, this top? Pardon?
Yes, I believe.
What do you mean you believe? Have you ever been inside of Oakdale?
Yes, once.
So you didn't take this video when you're not sure if this upstairs is Oakdale?
No, I did not take the video.
And
I do believe it's Oakdale.
you do believe it's Oakdale?
Yes.
Or do you know?
I do believe it's Oakdale.
And is the video edited? Or is it a single stream?
It's edited.
This one's edited or the Zillow one's edited?
The Zillow, is this not the Zillow one?
No, this is not the Zillow one.
Oh, then the Zillow one is edited.
Okay, so this one is then,
Okay, so here we're going down the basement.
Yeah.
Hang on, wait, this is my witness, Ms. Cantor. So, we're going down the basement. You're seeing the condition of the basement right now.
and right there's a room.
Okay. This is a space here. This is what the city is characterizing as a bedroom. It's wide open.
That's not the same video.
That's what we're saying. He made a mistake. His videographer put the wrong basement image in the video that was uploaded to Zillow. And we've been telling the city that for some time now.
Where is this video, where is this video?
What's the address for this, if this is in?
Hang on. Wait, Ms. Cantor, this is my witness. So
Attorney Peterson, just to create, clear up some confusion for the board, what video are we watching?
Mr. Fontenot, what video are we watching?
This is the correct video of 7332 Oakdale.
So this is the video that your assistant photographed,
This is the video from the photographer with no edits.
and this is posted where?
I do not have this posted.
Okay.
I do not have this
Thank you.
listed.
There was some confusion. I believe, I thought we were looking at the Zillow video.
Okay, so the Zillow video, did the Zillow video have a break before it showed the basement
Yes, sir.
footage? All right, and again, I want to reiterate, this is the correct video of the property, and it shows the room, and we can,
And Attorney Peterson, what exhibit number is that you're calling the correct video?
we'll call the video exhibit 8.
Seven, I think it should be seven.
No, the green tag, photo of the green tag is 7.
Okay.
That's right.
So I,
Okay, thank you.
so we move to admit the video in as exhibit.
No, I object. He didn't make this video. He did, I still have a whole bunch of questions about it before we even talk about admission. The original video, which I had a link to up until yesterday, has been removed by the user. So I do have some questions about when, I'd like some foundation on this. Sir, when was this video created that we just watched? Okay, you've moved to admit it, and so I am going to object based on foundation. So you can either provide the foundation, or I can ask for the foundation.
Mr. Fontenot, explain to me how the video is made.
The current one? The current video?
The one that we just saw, the one we just showed the board.
My photographer went through, walked through the home with no cuts or edits at that point.
Was the video, when was the video taken?
I do not know. I would have to ask.
Give me a time frame for when it was taken. When did you become the listing agent of the property?
I want to say July.
Was it taken sometime between July 2018 and February of 2019?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, can you drill down with a little bit more precision?
I am not sure.
I'm not going to move to admit the video at this time. I'll have another witness lay the foundation for it. Okay. Mr. Fontenot, there was a realtor listing. I'll just put up, and I have copies of this. There's a copy for Ms. Cantar, copy for the witness. I approach, identify this as Respondent's Exhibit 9. Mr. Fontenot, do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That is an old listing of 7332 Oakdale Street in Hammond.
And it listed as 3 bedrooms, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that a correct representation of the bedrooms in this house?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Is that the correct number of bedrooms in this house?
No, sir.
This was a mistake. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, sir.
How did that happen?
I would have to ask that agent.
When you created your listing, did you rely upon this older listing to do so?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that in the Realtor Multiple Listing Service, it's very easy to copy prior listings and update them?
Yes, sir.
And is that something that realtors frequently do?
Yes, sir.
But property is actually a 2-bedroom. I move to admit Exhibit 9 into evidence.
Okay, Exhibit 9 will be admitted into evidence.
I have no further questions.
I do have questions of this witness. You had said that this is the second video. When did the first video get taken down off of YouTube?
Earlier this week?
Okay, so earlier this week you took off
Or less.
the first video, correct?
Correct.
Why did you take it off?
I no longer had that listing. I no longer had a legal contract for that listing. So all the marketing was removed.
So when was this one created?
That, I'm not sure. That's the one I'm not sure when that one was shot, if it was the original or if it was a new one.
Okay, so this could be a completely different new video.
I'm not sure.
This might not be the original video that was posted.
I'm not sure.
Okay, now you said when you were looking at the picture that the other one was a mistake. What was the listing? Where was the other property that basement was shot in?
That I'm not sure either.
What do you mean you're not sure either? Then how can you say it was a mistake if you're not sure?
Just because it doesn't appear to be the same one from that home. It looks like one from a Griffith listing.
Okay, what would be the address there?
I don't know off the top of my head.
But this was something that you're willing to tell this board that that is not Oakdale in the old video that was taken down earlier this week.
I do not believe so.
And you're basing it on what?
The little bit of memory I have from it.
And this is a second video, this isn't the original video, but you don't know when it was made or who made it.
I do not.
Are you the agent who drafted this listing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did you use to write this?
I have a standard template, basically, for ABL listings.
Okay, and so all ABL listings have downstairs as an additional bedroom and additional space just waiting for your finishes?
No.
Okay, so why would you write that then?
At the time, I'd have to go back and look at my notes.
But you said you'd only been in the property one time.
Right. I was listing a lot of homes at that time.
How many homes do you currently have listed?
Five or six?
Okay, so you have 5 or 6 properties, but you can't tell why you would have written this out of 5 or 6 properties. And you can't tell if this is a new video or the old video from 5 or 6 properties. And you've only been in Oakdale one time.
Correct.
And you didn't make this video.
I did not.
Why did you take the YouTube video down this week instead of, when did you lose the listing?
When all of this started.
So you only took the YouTube video down this week because there was a hearing set for this Thursday?
No, because it was brought to my attention that it was still up.
When you do a video, do you guys have like a little signature or picture in the corner? Can I have A back, please?
Sorry. They're all in there together.
Do you have a little signature or picture in the corner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is this one of yours?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have no idea where this property is? You think it might be in Griffith?
I think so.
But you only have 5 or 6, so you can't give me an address?
At this time, I had others.
Okay, how many?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, you said at this time, what is this time?
Back in mid-2018.
Now, before you took the YouTube video down, you admit that that was in it? That picture right there, that image?
Yes, ma'am, I believe so.
And you say it was for some other property in Griffith, but you don't know which one?
I believe so.
And you only took down the one with that image earlier this week?
Yes, ma'am.
Who told you to take it down?
The client.
The client told you to take it down? Okay, I don't have anything further.
You lost the listing, right?
Yes, sir.
When you lose the listing, you have to take down all the marketing material.
Yes, sir.
And you said earlier that Zillow sent you a reminder or a notice you have to take that video down, correct?
Zillow did not.
All right, I'm not further for this witness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I call Ryan Steele. Mr. Steele, go ahead. Please stand before me. Mr. Steele, identify yourself to the board.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Steele, identify yourself to the board.
My name is Ryan Steele.
And are you affiliated with ABL Homes LLC responding to this matter?
Yes, sir.
What is the nature of your affiliation?
President of Operations, Project Management.
In the course of your duties with ABL Homes LLC, have you ever been in the property at 7332 Oakdale?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's get back to this video that's been identified as Respondent's Exhibit 8. Are you familiar with that video?
Yes, sir.
Does that video...
I'm sorry, Attorney Peterson, did you say, what exhibit? The video, I thought we did not admit that into
It's not been
evidence.
admitted.
Okay,
I haven't moved to admit it.
okay.
We got ahead of ourselves.
Continue, I'm sorry.
Exhibit 8. The video. Does that video truthfully and accurately reflect the condition of 7332 Oakdale?
Yes, sir.
And when was that video taken?
There have been several videos, but I believe the one you showed may have been just taken a couple of days ago in preparation for this hearing.
Was it?
I'm sorry?
Was it?
Yes, I don't know when the photographer got there, but it was either Monday or Tuesday of this week.
So it was taken
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday this week? All right. Does that video truthfully and accurately reflect the condition of this property from October 4th, 2018 until today?
Yes, sir.
I move to admit the video as Respondent's Exhibit 8.
I'm going to make an objection as to foundation. Sir, did you take this video?
No, ma'am.
Did you have, and you don't know when it was made?
I was not present when the photographer made it.
He hasn't answered. He said Monday or Tuesday. And he doesn't have to be there to be able to lay a foundation for the accuracy of the video.
He's testifying that this is the condition of the property as it was on October 4th of last year. However, he doesn't know when the video was made. He did not make it. And he just said it was made a couple of days ago. It could reflect the current condition of the property. And I do believe I have the right to ask who made this video so we can find out a little bit more why and when. If he doesn't know, how does he know it was the condition October 4th, 2018?
Out of respect for this court and this hearing, I did not bring my cell phone in. If I had access to that text, I could give you the exact time that the photographer went because she had to reach me to get the code to get into the property. And I could tell you then, but it was, to the best, it was either Monday or Tuesday of this week. I honestly, if you were asking me to stipulate, I would probably say most likely Tuesday of this week.
So this video represents what it looked like Tuesday of this week.
Yes, it does do that, but it also represents October because no changes were made since October.
And the earlier video that was up on YouTube, are you familiar with where that property is?
Objection, that's outside the scope. I'm on my direct. She's voir dire the witness of the admissibility of Exhibit 8. She's going beyond. We've laid our foundation. I asked the board to rule on the admissibility of Exhibit 8.
I don't find there is foundation. He doesn't know who made the video.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to know. All he has to do is testify that that is a truthful and accurate representation of the property over a discrete time frame. He said it's the correct representation of the property from October 4th, 2018 until now. That's all I need to put it into evidence.
Sir, did someone from your group take this video? Did you hire someone to take this video, or you have absolutely no idea who took the video?
I have as part of the listings that we do for the multiple properties we have a photographer who's also a videographer. I reached out to her. She said she would go to the property. She texted me to get the code when she was there. And she entered and did the video and sent that video over to us, yes.
And all of this happened Tuesday.
I believe I reached out to her at earliest Monday, and I believe she did Tuesday, and the reason I say that is her grandmother passed this week, and I think that was why she did it on Tuesday rather than Monday.
I suppose the question you're not understanding then is, the video that was made Tuesday was made with Tuesday's footage, is my question. That she took, because you had to get in. You said you had to let her in with the code.
Yes, ma'am. She took the video that I believe, because I was not present up there, that was displayed by Attorney Peterson, was taken on Tuesday. Yes, ma'am.
So this isn't the video from before that was shown.
No, ma'am.
This is a brand-new video made 2 days ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And so this video reflects, in this video, the condition of the property Tuesday of this week.
It does indeed do that. Yes, ma'am.
Was there any other old video footage somewhere that was improperly edited?
Yes, ma'am.
This is beyond the scope of a voir dire on the admissibility of Exhibit 8. I'm still on direct examination of this witness. So unless there's questions related to a proper evidentiary objection.
It is.
The board would be willing to admit this Exhibit 8 in evidence as to the condition of the property as of Monday or Tuesday of this week.
All right. Mr. Steele,
Yes, sir.
how many times have you been in 7332 Oakdale?
Approximately 24 times.
All right. Starting when?
The exact date would be early, maybe midsummer of 2018. The property was purchased from the Lake County Sheriff's Sale. That same day, I made my way to the property to view it. I had not been in it prior to that purchase.
Were you in the property at any time after October 4th, 2018?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was the first time immediately after October 4th, 2018?
It was just before Thanksgiving. My wife's parents reside in Carmel, Indiana. We were making our way down. We stopped to view a few properties on the way.
Was the property, 7332 Oakdale, in the same condition right before Thanksgiving as reflected in the video that's been admitted as Exhibit A?
Yes, sir.
Now, you as the President and Operations Manager of ABL Homes, you desire to comply with Hammond building codes, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And when you acquired the property, in your opinion, had there been a bedroom in that cellar?
Yes.
I have in my hand identified as respondents' exhibits, with respondents' group exhibit 9. Give a copy to the witness, give a copy to Ms. Cantar, and give a copy to the board, and tender a copy of respondents' exhibit 9 to the board. You recognize those photos?
Yes, sir.
Where are they?
They are of the area in question at 7332 Oakdale.
Okay, so the area in question is a space in cellar that is the same space that's been shown in the video that's been admitted as Exhibit A, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. At the time, I want you to look up top. Was there a light there?
I can see a light bulb.
A light bulb? How was that bulb actuated?
A pull string.
Okay.
The pull string in this case was like a few of those little, that little beaded thing that you hook on. That was all that was left at that point.
All right, and we're looking at the first photo here. It looks like you're in a doorway.
Yes, sir.
Is there a wall with a door there?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And that got removed, right?
Yes, sir.
Why was that removed?
Because there's not 7-foot ceiling height in the basement.
Okay. And were you instructed to remove it by the city of Hammond?
I personally was not present for that conversation, but a name was mentioned. Pedro was there and was informed because he asked, could we keep it if it was here? He was told no. I believe it was Bill Luter, I believe, because I was not present for that conversation.
The city told you to remove the doorway.
Yes.
All right. And to the right, you can vaguely see this on the second photo here. It's oriented
Vertically.
in a portrait direction. You can see a door in the space that the city is seeking to characterize as a closet.
Yes, sir.
Was that removed?
Yes, sir.
Respondent moves to admit Exhibit 9.
What would the dates of these photos be taken?
I know I gave you the exact date, but they were about 1 week after the purchase at Sheriff's Sale. That entire room was loaded with
The date of
ox
that again?
springs and stuff, so we had to remove them, and then I took the
What was
photos.
the date of the sheriff's sale? Approximately.
Approximately was, I do remember on this date, our company bought 7 or 8 properties at auction. So I want to say it was May or June of 2018.
18.
Yeah.
Thank you. No objection? Chris? Okay. The board will admit Exhibit 9 into evidence.
So much here.
Now, Mr. Steele,
Yes,
did
sir.
you ever do any electrical work in the cellar of that property?
I I know we changed the outlet cover. If you look under the most recent exhibit, you'll see an outlet directly below the window. We changed the cover. I do not recall what else was done in the electric. I know electric was done on that property and permits were pulled, yes.
Have my handle identifies response as a 10 for identification purposes. Tender copy to the witness, tender copy to the counsel. And approach. Tender copy respondent's 10 to the secretary of the board. Steele, what did I just give you?
Photograph?
What does it depict?
It depicts the area that the city of Hammond is saying is a closet that needs to be removed in the basement/cellar at 7332 Oakdale. I took this photo personally. I took this photo on February 21st of this year.
Does it truthfully and accurately reflect the condition of that space on that date?
Yes, sir.
Okay, move to admit 10. All right,
Be admitted into evidence.
I want to be clear. Is there a shelf in there?
No, sir.
Is there a rod in there?
No, sir.
Is there a door there?
No, sir.
What do you intend this space to be used for?
Storage?
What do you call it?
A nook?
A nook.
I don't really call it anything, to be honest.
So, I want to summarize here. The city says that you came in at some point and altered that space in the cellar to look like a photograph that's contained in City 1, or City A.
Yeah, I got the photograph.
The Zillow one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that. She handed it to me. Okay.
Okay. At any point in time, did that space in the cellar look like that?
No.
I'm sorry,
That's
can we
gorgeous,
see
though.
which one you were?
I'm sorry.
can we-
It's
Thank you.
I believe it's the Zillow listing because there's Zillow at the top, but yeah, no, it doesn't.
In fact, when did you first learn about the situation with the property being listed as a three-bedroom?
Honestly, the property was under contract to be purchased. The seller was doing the buyer was doing a walkthrough and called the realtor to say that there was an uninhabitable notice stuck on the property. And that is when I personally was made aware when that phone call came in.
When you investigated and you learned that the city thought that there was a bedroom in the basement?
Yeah, I called my project manager, Pedro, who then told me he was talking to them to get in. We got them in. They claimed that there was a bedroom in the basement. Obviously, there wasn't one. What was the markings in the floor were from the wall that was removed that was there when we purchased the property.
Actually, the city sort of did you a favor.
They did us a huge favor, because if we sold that property and that buyer came back with that listing, I could have been liable for a lot. So I am actually grateful this came up, to be honest.
So, you're thankful that the city pointed this out. But the city came back to you with something that you did find objectionable. What is that?
In my conversations with Mr. Kearney, I believe it wasn't even with Mr. Kearney, he was rather truculent on the phone. I spoke to a young lady who was, I believe, identified as the mayor's assistant, and she told me that Mr. Kearney had requested that we remove that closet. I don't know what you guys are terming it, but the closet in the basement. And I said, it was passed that way. You're asking me to go in and do more work, pull more permits. After this, I was doing everything in my power at that time to go back in there, get the Hammond to take that down so I could still save the sale of that property. The buyer didn't like that and walked away.
Okay. So, the city had previously told you everything's great.
Yes.
Broker made a mistake.
one of many. That photo has appeared on several listings of mine.
The city actually helped you out saying, hey, you
Yeah.
make a mistake, fix this, you did, but now the city's asking you to come in and take out something, and you don't want to do that, right?
No.
Okay,
I passed the inspection as is.
all right. And part of the problem is there's no clear standards for what constitutes closet, what constitutes bedroom, et cetera, right?
It has been my experience that there are many, I guess we'll call them gray areas in the code that sometimes apply, sometimes don't. It really depends on which inspector comes out.
And I'm going to give you the last set of exhibits here.
How many photos?
Tender copy of this that I've identified as Respondents Exhibit 11.
Yeah.
Tender copy of Respondent 11 to the board. Okay. That photo, again, is blank.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What is that photo that I just gave you?
That photo is a photo taken by myself on February 21st. And it is of the area in question in the below-grade area, I don't know, basement cellar of 7332 Oakdale.
And it truthfully and accurately reflects the condition of property on that date?
Yes.
It truthfully and accurately reflects the condition of that property on October 4th, 2018?
I'm sorry?
Did it truthfully and accurately reflect the condition of that property on October 4th, 2018?
Yeah, nothing was done, so.
And it truthfully accurately reflects the condition of that property at all time, at all points in time between October 4th, 2018 through the date you took the photo, which was this week?
Yes, sir, there's no way for anybody to get in and change it. Again, we purchased a lot of properties. The lockbox, the manual one that we use our contractors, was moved to another property.
Respondent was to admit response to that.
No objection.
And again, what was the date of this photo?
February 21st. Of this year, I'm sorry, 2019. I should have been more specific.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right, now you said everything that was done by October 4th when it passed, is that correct? And that you would.
Yes, ma'am, no way.
An outlet under the window in the basement. But this picture from December 13th doesn't have the outlet in the basement. So obviously something was done after December 13th, isn't that correct?
I'm sorry, who took this photo, ma'am? May I ask that?
That was taken during the inspection. Our inspector, you just said that nothing was done after October 4th. On December 13th, there is no outlet.
That's not possible.
And if you notice, the outlet in the
shadow difference
picture
there.
you show.
Wait,
lines-
hang on. He needs to answer the question first.
Okay, well-
You said I thought I heard you say there's a shadow?
Yeah, in looking at the photo, and I don't know, I'm going to hold this up because I don't know if she referred to which one it was. It says 12/13/2018, 11/08. In the photos that we have from before and after the renovation work was done, there is an outlet just below the window. In this one, it is hard to see. However, there is an odd shadow change about 2 feet from the left wall. I can't speak to who took this. I can't speak to anything because I wasn't present for this photo, but it does appear that this appears to be 7332 Oakdale, the area in question. If you're going to call into question the outlet, I will point out to the board the light fixture, the ductwork that is coming down, which is not present in a Zillow photo. There is, if you look in the far corner, in this area, you will see a vent coming down, again, not in the Zillow photo. There's a
I'm
vent
sorry,
here.
I'm sorry.
All right,
Mr. Steele,
yeah.
you're saying Zillow photo, you're referring to this?
I am
Or are
saying
you
to the
referring
photo that
I'm
was-
sorry.
I don't know the evidence
Can
numbers.
we
I'm
see
sorry.
which one you're referring to?
Right, I'm going to show him also, now the Zillow photo has the outlet
Yes.
there, and it also has the outlet right here.
It also has another wall, an outlet, no ducts, no ceiling light.
And as you can see in the Zillow photo, there's this switch right there by the closet, correct?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, there's switches by lots of
So
closets.
you fully maintain that these three properties here showing this angle, this outlet right there,
I maintain this photo in your right hand and this top photo, which were the ones I took, are indeed that photo. I still maintain emphatically the photo from Zillow is incorrect and not of this property. It is not of a property in Hammond, as a matter of fact.
where is it a property?
That property, I believe, was from a Cape Cod property we did in Griffith, Indiana.
Do you have the address of that property?
We did 5 or 6 properties in Griffith,
How many were Cape Cods?
about 4 of them.
Okay, and can you tell me which one this is?
No, I cannot specifically say which one that was. We finished all of the basements in Griffith using that same style. We used the same style on every property. Unfortunately, because we use so many, sometimes it really takes me a few photos to say which house it is.
Okay, but
I'm not trying to be
asking, look at
evasive,
these.
it's just the truth.
You're telling me that this window with this outlet right here, and this light switch right there, and this one right there, these are two different properties?
Yes, ma'am,
And they
emphatically.
just look exactly the same?
They do not look exactly the same.
Okay, what's different?
In the photo submitted by myself, and even the photo you submitted as evidence in December of 13, clearly show a ductwork coming below the rafters. There is no such duct that can be obviously seen in any way, shape, or form in the photo from Zillow. You see sheetrock.
Yeah, it's covered with the ceiling. It doesn't make
How could I cover it with the ceiling if you're saying the ceiling and this ceiling line up the same? I would have to have dropped it another foot.
No, you can see that the window is smaller because it
Ma'am, the window is not smaller in any way, shape, or form. Okay, we will. There's an entire duct that drops 1 foot below the rafters. I would have to have built out an entire thing.
This is with the outlet right there and right there. And here's the closet right there.
Wait, you're making argument now.
No, I'm not making, I'm just pointing out what I showed him so they could see. I don't have an overlay.
And I believe the board is intelligent enough to see the massive duct right above the window.
But you can't point to the outlet in the December 13th.
A photo taken by your staff that has submitted a photo from Zillow, and if I'm going to be asked questions, I'm going to ask, was Kelly Kearney, Bill Luter, Bob Vale, anybody see the wall in question by themselves? That at any point, did any member of the city of Hammond see that wall that they're claiming was built after final and torn down again as if I'm made of money to throw money around to do build up, take down, move a duct?
You don't have to move the deck.
I would have to have in order to get that ceiling in there.
Drop this.
You can see in the photo that we submitted into evidence, from the before photo, you can see the duct coming below the ceiling, the drop ceiling. You can see it there, and I don't know which number it is, but it's the one in the vertical.
This one, right here. You can see that
You can see the duct there. So how would I have had to have dropped the ceiling, how would I have had to have dropped the ceiling height so low, below the top of the closet that you see to the right? You're saying I changed the window.
Well, it was glass.
How much work did I do in this property, ma'am?
Black window
No, it is not.
with a vent?
That one is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You admit that this was,
That window is there. I don't like leaving glass block windows. Yes, but I was not referring, you were showing this picture compared to this picture, both after, both the same window.
no, you just,
Yes, these are the exact same window. One just happens to have paper drape. Those are the exact same window, ma'am. That window was changed prior to the final inspection in October because I don't like having glass block windows in below grade spaces because if there is a fire on the stairs, especially in a Cape Cod where the kitchen and stove and oven are right at the stairs, the likelihood of a fire on the stairs is dramatically increased. So I always mandate that an escape window is put in. It may not have been to the exact code, but I didn't need it because I wasn't calling it a habitable space. But it does allow someone to get out should there be a fire, and I could never live with myself as someone would be in that sub-area, subgrade basement, and were hurt. So did I change the window? Yes, well before October, ma'am.
Attorney Akantar, can you remind the board, please, what date the photo from Zillow was obtained by
prior
the
to
inspections
December,
department?
The photo from Zillow is what led to the inspection that was first canceled, then rescheduled.
So do we have
I
a date
disagree with
when
you.
this was first seen by a member of our code enforcement? or Inspections Department.
We got to check when that first inspection was set. I think it was 10 days, weeks before December 13th.
So this is,
I was never made
Zillow
aware of
pulled
that.
from somewhere December in 2018.
I don't have anything further.
Thank you, Mr. Steele.
Thank you very much.
Board want to hear a brief argument?
You have no other witnesses? We agree with that? Close, basically. Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
In the interest of safety, I find no harm at all in entering an order saying that will be recorded on the property, saying the basement cannot be used for habitable space. The only person who would object to this is the person who would intend to try to use it for habitable space. I see no harm in that. And I can't even see what harm the owner of the property would see if they have no problems with this and they're all about safety and people not burning to death in basements.
Responded in response, puts before the board the following.
I'm sorry, Attorney Peterson, can I have you actually, I apologize for the recording.
The respondent responds in argument as follows. We believe that property owners in the city of Hammond should be and are treated equally. And because my client is an investor, they should not be treated to different treatment than would be given to owner occupants. It is clear that Hammond Municipal Code says that you can't have habitable space in the basement, in the cellar. There is no evidence here that has been put into the record that my client intends to do that. Quite the contrary. All the evidence points to the fact that they intend to comply with Hammond Municipal Code. So there is no need for an entry of an order that the space should not be used as a habitable space. That's the code. Should the board enter an order like that, it demonstrates an arbitrary and capricious application of Hammond City Code. What we are asking here is based on the evidence. The board finds that this was a mistake. The realtor made a mistake. Mistakes happen. My client has shown that he has done everything possible to comply with the requirements of Hammond City Code. He pulled a permit. He fixed up the house using licensed Hammond City contractors. All the work was done appropriately. And because of a mistake, he has now been hauled before this board. Now, he has thanked the city of Hammond for pointing this mistake out. Had he sold that house, listing it as a 3-bedroom, he could have potentially exposed himself to liability. So, on behalf of the respondent, we say thank you. But let's not take this beyond what it really is, a mistake. That space has never been intended to be used as a habitable space. It is not being used as a habitable space. They took efforts to remove a wall that contained a door. It's not an enclosed space. It doesn't even meet the definition of a habitable space. So we would ask that the board find in favor of the respondent and dismiss the notice of violation.
The board has a few questions we'd just like to clear up before we close the hearing today. This has been characterized as a mistake on behalf of the listing company. We've heard from testimony today that the listing company has been relieved of their duties on this property. Has a new listing company been hired to list this property?
As of yet, no. I don't know if you guys are going to allow me to list the property. It still has a big uninhabitable sticker on it, so I haven't decided which way to move. I will be honest, more than likely I will probably enlist the services of Mr. Fontenot as he has cleaned up the issues that he had. The subject photo was found in many, many properties, but he's cleared it up, so I will most likely use him again. We'll see once a decision has been made here.
And when did you essentially fire the listing agent on this?
As soon as it was determined, well, as soon as the last contract fell through because the buyer went, there was nothing we could do with the city of Hammond. Once I had emailed the mayor's office some questions, and it fell on deaf ears. Once I realized that this was not proceeding, we terminated the listing because we didn't want to have a property being listed that had an uninhabitable sticker.
Approximately, what was the date of
I
that?
would probably say it was shortly before Christmas, probably like the 20th in that range. So,
Do you have any other properties listed for sale in Hammond?
yes,
How many?
one right now that is listed for sale.
Is that the only one you've had in the past?
No,
Many?
I've done several in Hammond,
Okay.
several dozen. But there's one that's listed. There are two that are currently being worked on that I've had nothing but trouble since this issue with the Hammond inspectors.
All the questions I have, thank you.
Thank you.
The house in Griffith that you say the bedroom looks very similar to this one. Can you provide us that address?
If you give me some time, I can probably dig it up. Again, my company last year did over 90 flips, so categorize them.
How much time would we need?
That's a good question. I'd have, because they all look the same. So for me to go with specificity, I'd have to dig up all the photos, and I'd be willing to do that. It just, could be a day. Give me a day, two.
The board could take it under advisement for 30 days, which would give him time to give us the Griffith.
I do, honesty, you guys have held up my property since December. I have been sitting on a property I can't live in, I can't rent, I can't sell for 30 days. You're asking me to pay
Mr. Steele,
taxes.
Mr. Steele, hold on.
Really, for 3 months? You're going to give me
Mr. Steele,
30 more days?
Hold on one second. If you're claiming that a bedroom in Griffith looks almost identical to this bedroom,
Yes.
if you would have came today with proof that this house in Griffith exists, first of
Okay.
all, or an address that shows us the bedroom that in question, we would have.
Today's hearing was about 7332 Oakdale. I came with multitudes of photos. We came with multitudes of things showing obvious signs that that photo is not accurate because, as I see, you can see the ductwork, you can see the
Okay.
wall.
So, sir, we
all that sort of stuff.
already heard your
Okay, that's
testimony
why
on
I did
this.
it. So I wanted to explain why I
No,
did it.
we understand.
There is nothing that's been put in the record before this board that suggests the condition of the house right now is anything other than the photos that we put in the record. We've explained why the Zillow video, which is not in the record, portrayed or led to an erroneous conclusion by the inspectors. But we're here before the board on the condition of the property as it stands now.
True.
The client's testified he doesn't intend to use it as inhabitable space. And furthermore, he's shown that the property, with his own evidence, he's corroborated what the condition is that has been put in the record by the city of Hammond. So, again, we want to accommodate the board, but here, you've heard his frustration.
Well, I understand that, Attorney Peterson. However, the board is also being asked to either deny the request or approve the request to affirm a restriction on this property. And your argument is that because it violates the city code as it stands as a cellar space, that it could not be used as a basement, a cellar bedroom. However, we're also being asked as a board to understand that the realtor listed this property incorrectly, had a video that was incorrect, has a picture that's incorrect, has a statement that says there's a third bedroom in the basement. This person is being fired and then going to be retained again. So as a board, we're here to decide whether or not the order is necessary to protect potential future buyers and the residents of Hammond on a safety standpoint. So I don't think it's unreasonable for the board to request that if this has been identified as a Griffith property, to request some sort of evidence that shows that to help us make that decision more clearly. And we do not need to extend this for 30 days. If we will hold this open for advisement for 10 days if necessary, and if that time we are able to obtain some pictures, we'll issue the order with or without any of that additional
The problem
evidence.
is, I do that house in Griffith was sold. Everything in Griffith is sold. They're brand new ones moving forward. And now the people who have bought the house might be harangued, harassed, brought into this.
So there's no record of the,
I disagree. He had a listing for that. He said he had a listing for it, so just pull up the real listing for Griffith. These people don't have to be harassed.
we don't need you to go back into that property. I mean, if you would like us to move forward without that evidence, we certainly will we'll do so. However, I think it supports your argument a little bit better if we have that before us. So we will hold this open for 10 days if you wish. If you would like to close the hearing today, we will issue our decision after reviewing all of the evidence.
Take it under advisement for a week, and we can just leave it up to him.
With all due respect to the board, it's not relevant to the decisions before the board. The condition of the property does not suggest it's being used as a bedroom basement. The city is asking for an extraordinary remedy that is going beyond anything that would be expected. It would not be imposed upon an owner occupant on the city of Hammond. And the testimony of the realtor and the testimony of my client is unrebutted. There is no basis for the board to conclude otherwise. It was a mistake, and we testified to that. We'd ask that the board close the matter today, issue a written decision so that my client can decision.
I disagree that it's unrebutted. We have stills from that video which show a room that looks exactly like the room that is now there. The outlets are the same, the ceiling is the same, except it's been dropped, the window is the same, the placement of the light switch by the closet, it's the same. The only people who say that this is a property in Griffith is the owner of the property and his realtor. When asked to prove up, to say that, we're all mistaken, it's not relevant. So, I mean, if the board wants to take it under
But
advisement
it's
for...
not the current condition of the property.
But
The
that's...
current condition of the property is not a violation of Hammond Municipal.
The entire argument was that this was all just a big misunderstanding, and it was never a basement bedroom. Which, if it is not the case, then it's not the case. Then fess up and say it's not the case. We didn't fix it again. But instead of calling our inspectors liars and saying that we're all mistaken and it's not the same, then show me the pictures of Griffith from the real estate listings. They're flippers. They've got before and after pictures of everything.
Okay, the board will now close this hearing. As we do typically anytime we have a hearing with an extensive amount of evidence presented before us and a decision to make whether or not to affirm this order, we will take this under advisement for 7 days. The order will be issued at the next week's Board of Works meeting. Communication will go through our city attorney to your presentation. We thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay, now where am I? Okay, we are returning to our agenda. Item J, notice of violation hearing on property located at 6729 Arkansas Avenue. Thank you. Let's take a minute. Do we need a break? You guys okay? Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to keep going.
And if we could we move to have also item L heard at the same time? Same owners, same owners of the properties.
J and L, you're saying?
J and L, yes.
J and L, is the owner present? Do you hear any objections to hearing both of those at the same time? Thank you. Thank you for your wait today. Okay, I don't know where my stuff is.
These two properties are in regards to properties purchased by HouseSmart. One is 6729 Arkansas, which I believe that one was subsequently sold to a Chandler Lee George out of Roanoke, Texas. HouseSmart continues to manage the property there. And 6910 Ridgeland was purchased by HouseSmart. Both properties, very similar to the previous case. The property on Arkansas came to our attention when a picture surfaced of a room in the cellar. Now, I am pleased to say that HouseSmart has seen the error of their ways. The room in the basement at 6729 Arkansas has been removed. We would just like to affirm the order for it to be removed and not be used as habitable space. And then 6910 Ridgeland was a vacant house that I had been in previously. When the door was found open, there was an attic there that had a 6'10" ceiling, and much less than 50% was at 6'10". They have also hired a contractor, and that has been removed. And we would just like to affirm both orders that these rooms had to be removed.
Anything you'd like to say today? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay, do we have a motion to affirm the order on 6729 Arkansas and 6910 Ridgeland?
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item K, notice violation hearing on property located at 4224 Homan Avenue.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Is it still morning?
4224 came about from a police call that we received an email from on January 23rd regarding police going over there over a domestic dispute, saying that there was a basement apartment and possible illegal basement apartment. We contacted the owner. This is an owner-occupied home. We were able to do the inspection 6 days later. He was not hesitant. Where we found that there was, in fact, an illegal basement apartment. He was renting this out to someone else, and for his fact, to help out in his case. He said he was behind, on money, and this was just helping his financial situation as he was laid off. Regardless of that, we did find a whole basement apartment, including kitchen, ceilings that were 6'10", no egress windows whatsoever. I think I mentioned a kitchen. So we are asking the board to affirm the findings and removal of basement apartment at this location.
I motion to affirm the findings for 4224 Homan Avenue.
And I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item M, correspondence received from Hammond Parks and Recreation requesting street closures for the duration of the 2019 Festival of Lakes, 5 p.m. Wednesday, July 17th through midnight Sunday, July 21st, 2019. I don't know where I'm at again.
I'm sure they're the same.
There we go. Okay.
All right, I would motion to approve the street closures for the Festival of the Lakes, submitting, or for notification to the police department as well as EMA.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item N, correspondence received from Hammond Parks and Recreation requesting permission to hold a commercial fireworks display on Friday, July 19th, 2019, and Saturday, July 20th, 2019, at the city's 16th Annual Festival of Lakes on the island of Wolf Lake Memorial Park.
I motion to approve the fireworks request with proper approval from their operator, fireworks operator.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item O, correspondence received from the East Side Community Council requesting permission to hold a Hammond Day Parade on Saturday, July 6, 2019. Okay. We do not have any route information attached to this request, so do we have a motion to defer until next week and request that the organization submit the route information to the board?
Motion to defer until the board receives the route information.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item P, correspondence received from WOW regarding a change in their channel lineup.
I would hope this just acknowledges.
We're getting some more channels. The board acknowledges the channel changes. Item Q, correspondence received from the Hugs Cultural Committee inviting the Board of Public Works and Safety to their annual awards and appreciation ceremony Saturday, April 20th, 2019. I had the opportunity to attend last year and hope to see my fellow board members
Well, on
this
behalf
year.
of the board, thank you for that.
Item R, agreement to rehabilitate property located at 1032 Eaton Street.
Property on demolition, it's been purchased, going to be rehabbed.
Okay. What do you like to see? All
What is
right.
it? Uh-oh.
Rehab agreement.
Approving the rehab agreement, is that right, Mr. Kearney?
Pardon me, sir?
You want to approve this rehab agreement? I motion to approve the rehab agreement for 1032 Eden.
And I second.
All those in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item S, garage sale permit submitted for approval.
I approve the garage sale permit.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 6, matters from other board members.
I do have one that came up here from engineering in regards to a WOW project where they are asking for some additional time to finish the project through NIPSCO WOW type.
Yeah, this was approved by the board previously. There's an attached copy there.
It was last year, and obviously they need a little bit more time to finish it.
Yeah, I believe they want to start the 11th, and it'll take about 2-3 weeks, weather dependent.
Yes. So I motion to approve Toma Consultants' request.
And I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any other matters from other board members?
No, ma'am.
Any matters from other department heads or their representatives? Any new business? Any old business? The meeting is open to the public. Sir, did you have something you wanted to bring to the board today?
Good morning. My name is Michael Boyer, and I live at the home at 817 173rd Street in Hammond, Indiana. I'd like to ask the board if anyone has, from Mobile Specialties at 7241 Calumet Avenue, has approached them during the time of January 7th to maybe to January 12th, 14th, and asked for a change in the alley behind my house and his business. It's my understanding that all of the street signs, all the one-way signs in the alley going northbound from 173rd up to Solon's at 171st have been removed. I noticed that. I see that they're gone. Has anyone from the board been approached by the owner of Mobile Specialties to have those signs removed?
Typically, sir, if somebody presents something to the board that requires a change in a traffic pattern, signage, parking, things like that, before the board would make any permanent decisions, they would do a trial period? Do you guys recall this particular one?
If I may, this is what I have found out this morning, sir. We presented this or sent this communication to the city council, because city councils have to approve road changes, is my understanding.
Thank you. That's my understanding, too. I was here
Okay.
Monday night.
Then
so.
they pushed it back to us because when this originally was done, how many years ago? You might know, 15 years?
That's been a one-way northbound for at least 20 years.
Okay, well, here's what we have found out, that was, the city council never ratified the one-way after a 90-day trial period.
Okay.
So, which tells me, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's got to revert back to its original use until that is officially done.
So it'll revert to a one-way again?
Two-way.
So,
Until we start this process would have to start at square one all over again with the city council ratifying this change if the neighbors so choose at the end of the process.
Okay.
It was not done the first time. Consequently, the signs were taken down.
Okay. What concerns me about that is I've done my research and spoken to all the businesses on the northbound side, northeast side of the business, starting with Quality Upholstery all the way up to Solon's, and I could not find a petition that said, that would have shown a majority that said, oh, I would love a copy of that.
to take it down or to put the signs up?
Well,
Back to two-way.
that's the one that changed it to a two-way, yes?
No. This is the
No.
one that the individual you just cited as you got up to the podium. This is the petition that he went through to the property owners.
Yes.
And sought their approval, yes or no?
Yes.
These are the affirmative signatures that he got in order to change it back to two-way.
May I have a copy of that? My question is this. I don't feel that the petition was personally fair because I don't think that he contacted, well, I know through the businesses that I've spoken to that the majority of the businesses on that side of the street would have said no.
You're talking the east side, correct?
Yes, the east side of the street, I'm sorry. I think that most of the businesses there, as a matter of fact, in my notes, most of the businesses would have either remained neutral or said no.
Okay,
My
so-
research.
Sir, just for a point of clarification, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't believe I was involved with all of this process. But the reason why it is currently a two-way, no one-way signs remaining, is not because he acquired a certain amount of signatures. He did do that. The signs were removed because once the investigation started, it turned out that the original petition to have a one-way sign was not completed. So they are removed because of the error 20 years ago, not because of his action. So
Okay,
while
okay.
we're happy to give you a copy of this,
Okay, that'd be
if you
great.
feel that it should be a one-way, you are welcome to go through the exact same process, and the board will evaluate what the condition of that roadway
Fantastic.
should be.
That's exactly what
Okay.
I'm trying to do. Okay, great. I'll stick around and
Stick
get a
around.
copy
We'll
of that.
get you some copies.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your wait today.
No problem.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.